Today I'm going to react to my favorite my favorite YouTuber Vasco Games. I'm going to react to his newest video. Can the first gym leader of Scarlet, Katie, be the champion? So let's.
This is
It's
Katie,
very
the
interesting,
Bug-type gym
guys.
leader in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. She's often the first gym leader that most trainers face, and is actively nerfed by Geeta because of her role. So of course, I will take this Turbo
What? His Snom.
just to make it even more
Cool, I like
play
Snom.
through the whole game as Katie. Why? Because I want to see if she could become champion. And I plan to do the same for all of the gym leaders in Scarlet.
Ooh, I like that. That's really cool, guys. Really cool. I like it. This spider and its bug types. Just so I.
We see a lot of these round boys hanging around the first route of the game. Also, they evolve at level 14, so say hello to Spidoff. And of course, we can't forget her signature Teddy Ursa.
Teddy Ursa, it's weird. Why does Teddy Ursa?
Only learn from Zangoose or Sandslash. And while this does complete the team Katie uses, I also had to catch one more Pokemon before setting off, Kricketot. Now Katie does not have a Kricketot, but I'm bringing it along because she needs a level 42 Kricketune to teach the move Night Slash to her Heracross later on. So
what? That's cool.
in any of my battles, it'll still get to join me in the party so it can reach that higher level over time. I just don't want to grind later on, okay? And now that we've ran around and collected a bunch of
All the Pokemon you need.
kick off the challenge by battling
Brassy is the last video.
types deal double damage to grass. However, his final Pokemon knows a
Rock moves are super effective.
Thankfully, the AI in this video game is a little silly. So after using her Silk Trap move to lower Sudowoodo's speed, Brassius decided to spam Trail Blaze so that his Pokemon isn't so slow. Meanwhile, we chipped away at its health with
weird.
Bug-type moves. By the
Like,
time
but
he switched back to using
no,
Rock
he
Swords,
almost.
Sudowoodo was in the red. So Teddy Ursa could easily finish it
With
off.
the Fury Cutter.
Having gotten her first gym badge, it was time to evolve Nimble.
It's not bad. Why is it
One of them
running
dropped the Pineco. For some
an
reason,
echo?
this took way longer than expected, but at least we got
Why?
one more Pokemon for the team. And it is
Pretty
also
rare.
the final Pokemon
Guys,
we'll
I don't
get
know
to
why.
use against the gyms. Now you might be thinking, doesn't Katie also get a Heracross? Yes, she does. But since I'll try my best not to overlevel during this run, I won't be able to catch a Heracross until after I've gotten all my 8 gym badges.
What?
Things just spawn at a really high level. So
That's
for the
weird.
majority of the run, we'll just have to use these 4 for the gym battles and the 2 of us for moral support. The next gym leader we got to battle was
These
Iono,
moral
who leads with
supports.
Rondo, a part flying type Pokemon who can resist all of our bug type moves and sweep to our team with its super effective
What's
Pluck attack.
sweep
However,
now?
since Pluck is a physical move, we can use Lokix's newly learned Lunge
Lunge,
attack to
it
lower
does
the
have
physical attack stat of
to
our enemy,
hit.
meaning our HP won't give up Pluck when we get attacked. Out next is Bellibolt, who also gets debuffed by our lunges, but can dish out enough damage thanks to its Electromorphosis ability.
Yeah, that's
Pinecone could finish it
OP,
off and
man.
also soak up Luxio's Intimidate. Compared to Spidobs, this Pinecone doesn't have nearly enough defense or offense, so I figured if I have to fodder one of the two, it's gonna be the Pinecone. The other reason to not fodder Spidobs is due to its Silk Trap move, which is one of the many different Protect style signature
Yeah,
moves.
it's weird.
This one lowers the
Like
enemy's
two
speed
or
stat if
eight,
they use a
like
physical
2 or
bug type
3
move,
different
which Luxio
protect
does.
moves.
So we alternate between protecting and attacking, and even though Luxio gets to knock us out, it has such a low speed stat by this point that even an EP little teddy bear would hit faster. That just leaves Miss Magius, who tries to
Magius,
confuse us,
but
let
it's
the
not
Intrusive Thoughts win. The nice thing
33,
about
not
Teddy
that
Ursa's Fury
much,
Cutter
mate.
attack is that it doubles in power every time it hits, and since we're attacking for a third turn in a row, this
That's
scrawny little rogue
must
stood no chance.
JO,
Things are looking
yeah.
pretty well for a little basic
Not
run,
bad.
so I figured it's time to go take on a couple of Titans for easier movement, and then make our way towards Cascarava for gym number 3. Unfortunately, gym leader Kofu was nowhere to be found.
That's old Kofu for you.
You met him before?
Yes, of course. He used to be my culinary teacher.
What?
And even back then, he was always up to something. Sometimes he would get so caught in whatever he was doing that he wouldn't even show up for class.
So we probably shouldn't wait for him to come back then.
Right. Dough that's left to raise for too long is no good. It'll be better if we go look for him ourselves.
But Cascarapa is such a big city. Where do we even begin?
I think our best chance is to go to his restaurant, the Kofu Lodge.
We aren't gonna go in?
If you'd like a tasty snack, sure. But I just need to take a peek at the menu posted outside.
Are you sure we shouldn't check if he's inside though?
No need. If he was in there, he would have seen us by now and come out to greet me. Now let's see. Nothing too unusual here. Oh,
Found something?
wakame.
What, Ame?
Wakame. It's a special type of seaweed
What?
from the Hoenn region. It's
That's
the only
cool.
ingredient I see on this menu that doesn't get shipped directly to the restaurant.
And you know where to find some, right?
Find? No. But I do know where the chef goes to buy it. He used to send me on errands there all the time. Porto Marinata.
It seems like Katie was right. Although when we got to the marketplace, it was really packed, and there was even a bouncer making sure that only buyers worth their salt could get into the auction site.
What?
This also wasn't
That's
a big
weird.
deal, but his little
It's
contra
cool.
new rock type move. It was a little bit scary, but mostly a mild inconvenience. Anyways, after we won, Katie and Kofu talked for a bit and participated in the auction. Then we made our way back to Cascarapa for a gym battle and some snacks.
Oh.
This part Psychic Veluza was
Ooh,
easy
snacks.
pickings for low
Good.
kicks and its lunge attack. And the Wug Trio also nearly got one shot
Lunge.
by our first attack. Then it got one shot for real by a random sandstorm that was blowing through during our battle.
Funny.
I really hope this doesn't count as cheating. I can't control the weather. Anyways, low kicks also got to do a lunge debuff on Kofu's Crabominable before
For
getting
the
crab
down.
hammered. Then we
Wow,
followed up
this
with Spite
strong.
Ops and some Silk Trap shenanigans. Pineco and the Sandstorm got to do a lot more chip damage to the Coconut Crab, and then Teddy Ursa came out for dessert, using 2 Fury Cutters to finish off the fight.
Goodbye,
Although we were
Crabominable.
barely hanging on there at the end. To sweeten up the victory, we decided to finally evolve Pineco and Teddy Ursa,
So
then went on a
we'll
culinary
get
tour of
stronger.
Medali. Okay, it was more of a culinary tour, although I did get to enjoy some rice balls from an ice cream stand. Then we placed our secret
What?
order and got the battle Larry. Knowing how strong his Komala is, we decided to use Lunge to debuff it. Meanwhile, it used Yawn, which will put us to sleep after our next turn. Then we went for a second lunge and
Lunge.
passed out.
Sleepy,
Meanwhile,
sleepy.
Larry kept missing every single
What?
turn. To be fair, Slam has a 75% accuracy, which feels like 5% accuracy in these games. So we
Yeah.
got to wake up from our power nap and finish off the Komala with our HP.
Really, most of
completely
it's not
untouched.
100%.
Gunnan is another
It's
powerhouse of a Pokemon, so we also lunge at it, which helps us bulk through its attacks and knock it out with our lead. That leaves Larry
Bit
with
sick,
just
guys,
Staraptor,
sorry.
which will be a problem because it knows Aerial Ace. The thing about Aerial Ace is that
Okay.
it makes contact. Fortress
Right.
also knows a move that lowers speed, so we spam Rock Tomb while bulking through a series of Aerial Aces. And since
Fortress
I
is
don't want to
really
risk losing because a
tanky and
90%
strong.
accuracy move misses here, we go for the Bulldoze to finish off Staraptor. It feels so wrong to use a ground type move to do this, but hey, it works. After winning the battle,
Works,
we
it
treated
works.
us to some free food, then went back to work. Meanwhile, we made our way up the mountain towards the spooky town of Montenevera.
Now that's a
Mountain.
unique way of describing it.
Well, there are a lot of ghost types up there. Speaking of which, I should probably wait by the entrance.
And here I was, hoping to show you a secret specialty of Montenevera.
Don't worry, I can hear the music all the way out here.
Ugh, that rhyme really changed this town's reputation in just a few months. Before she took over as gym leader, the
What?
main attraction of Montenevera was actually its culinary scene.
That's the first
Oh.
I'm hearing of it.
Okay, maybe I added a bit too much marshmallow fluff to that last statement, but they do have a one-of-a-kind restaurant up here.
Ooh, a unique restaurant? Do they sell some kind of fancy hot soup?
Hot soup? Quite the opposite, actually.
So
Cold
what?
fish.
That's the worst way to describe sushi.
Even the wax chef Kofu would get riled up at that comment.
What?
Then why?
It's good to get a nice laugh
Laugh.
once in a while, no?
Okay.
Besides, I'm not a big fan of seafood.
But you wanted to show me the restaurant anyways?
Yeah, the head chef
Oh.
there was a classmate of mine. So even though it isn't my cup of tea, I like to drop by the Sushi High Roller to support him.
The Sushi High Roller? That's not a unique restaurant. They got one of those in Medali too.
And Mesagoza. But the
Yes.
one in Montenevera has its own
What?
unique menu.
Seems
Ooh.
like someone should update the wiki.
Like the berry?
No. Anyways, I'm not going into town. But if you do get a chance to order some takeout, I'd love to try some
Hi.
of your classmates' food.
I'll see what I can do. See you in a bit, Joey Bean.
She definitely has a mischievous side to her, and so does MC
Okay.
Sludge, who loves to narrate every single battle
What?
that goes down on
Okay,
stage.
I don't know,
Here's how it
that's
went.
cool.
Katie leads with low kicks in Spider-Man. She uses Silk Trap as
Spider-Man!
supported by Ned's stats, then takes it down with a
She's
throat chop and
cool.
breaks Minkew's disguise. She then has her 2 bugs team up to take down the Mimikyu,
Fight off
and as soon as
Spider-Man.
Rhyme terastallizes
Fight
her
off.
toxicity, low kicks hits it with a throat chop, instantly ending its musical career. Poor Rhyme did manage to finish off Spider,
off,
but
but
that
it's
Low Kicks
okay.
really likes to go for the throat, knocking out her final Pokemon and
Wow,
winning
he
the
just
battle
got
lead.
whipped.
And since she got the gym badge so quickly, Katie had some time to grab me some sushi to go. Good. After getting to eat so much yummy food in Cascarapa, Medali, and Montenevera,
Bro,
it was
the
time for us to
snob.
burn off some calories
Vasco
by
is the
climbing all
most
the way up
hungry
to
snob
Alfrenada.
in the
And we also
world.
took part in Tulip's gym test, which was basically a group exercise class. And then it
Cool,
was time to
cool.
fight the fashionable woman herself. We
Cool,
tried to
yeah.
lunge her for Afarig, but it set up a reflex,
Okay,
which
guys,
caused
it's
big
really
problems
cool.
with
Look
all
at
Katie's Pokemon are physical attackers. Here, I thought this would be the easiest gym since we have a type advantage, but it looks like I
No.
really underestimated Tulip. I guess that's what I get for going into a gym with a whole 5 levels below the limit. So before
Five
the rematch
guys
battle,
on the
Katie and I went
roll.
to train up a bit, taking on several psychic type Raytans
Okay.
and some of the team star bosses.
Oh,
I don't
still
talk
talk
about
about-
them in this video because they are not required part of becoming champions.
Yeah,
And now that we've
really.
properly leveled up,
Need
the
to do it
rematch went a lot
just the
better,
game,
in
but
part
I'm
because
not.
the AI decided to go on the
Crunch.
offensive instead of set up a reflect with Tulip's lead. I've noticed this
So-
type of behavior change in previous runs too, where if you're too low a level, the game will go easy on you by using setup moves instead of
Ooh.
attacking moves. But from my experience, they tend to
Yep.
make the battles a lot harder. Anyway, since
That's
Tulip didn't have the
interesting.
damage reduction benefits of Reflect anymore, the Gardevoir just couldn't bulk its way through our heavy slams, and
Oh,
even
I
its
forgot.
Plethora got picked off
Heavy
by
slam.
Fortress. That left Tulip with just her ace. She tried to
Fortress
make
is
up for her
really
earlier
strong.
mistake by finishing off 4 Spidops,
Oh.
but we still had Ursaring ready to go, and with a single Fury Cutter,
Yeah,
Katie
Ursaring is
won
really
herself
strong.
another gym battle. Now,
When
before we
he's
go to
good
Battle
level
Fuchsia, we
and
had to do the
he's
little
really
sliding down the
strong.
hill minigame, but
I
in
like
the
that,
classic
that's my
Pokemon
favorite.
Scarlet and Violet, I find yet another random glitch. For some reason, at the start of the minigame, our Koraidon looked a little weird. Gamers, I give you the powdered sugar version of Koraidon,
What?
exclusive only to Katie's team, I think. Although it turned back to normal right after the game.
Yeah,
Anyways,
that's
Goose
touched
was up
me
next,
3
and his
times.
Pokemon
I think that's
one
rare.
shot for
I
Loki,
think that's
who's
the way
a bug
because
this
the
week to
snow.
Buzz. But that's okay because now it's time for Fortress to shine, using Gyro Ball to obliterate Frostbite,
Gyro
go through
Ball?
multiple
Earthquake?
earthquakes with Bear Tick, and stall out the
What?
Tailwind. Spinops used its Silk Trap to
So
slow
Bill
down
Chick
the
was
Typhon,
way
top-awayed
stronger.
itself with Brick Break, then Ursaring came in to finish it off with a Fury Cutter. Crucia's final Pokemon will be a
1v1.
huge problem since it knows Hurricane, but we got lucky during our rematch as it missed both of its attacks.
Ooh,
and our
that's
third
lucky.
Fury Cutter was strong enough to
What?
strike out its remaining
Oh,
8
crit.
feet. Despite being asked to go
Lucky
easy
for
on
the crit.
everyone by Geeta, I was pleasantly surprised to see Katie win every one of her gym battles.
Ooh,
but since we
interesting.
now have all of the gym badges, it's time to get serious,
Champion
which is what I should have
Cross.
nicknamed this Heracross. Anyways, we went for the usual flower spot, ate our Hickle sandwich, and battled a bunch of Chansey.
Chansey,
Also,
too
was
much.
it just me, or are there a lot more Blissey spotting in this area after the DLC drop? Could just be the Mandela effect, but I'm pretty sure I haven't seen this many of them spawn at once. Our last order of business was to give Sirius a Mirror Herb, which apparently lets you learn an egg move without having to make an egg. Thank you for explaining this mechanic to me in the comments of the Clive video. There is
Ooh.
nothing in the game to indicate the existence of this mechanic, and I would have completely missed it otherwise. And now that the team is fully leveled and complete, it was time to fight
Go
the
to
Elite
fight
Four.
the
Our first
Elite Four.
opponent was Rika, and her
Rika, the ground
Pokemon.
types.
Low-kicks could spam enough lunges to knock
Strong,
out
really
Cash
strong,
and have enough
guys.
leg muscle to run a whole marathon.
What?
The whole leg muscles were not strong enough to take down the Camerupt in one fell swoop. What Low-kicks has for legs, Heracross has for arms, and it uses its Brick Break attack to take down
What?
the
That's
Camo
a lot
and
of
then slap away
damage.
the Donphan. Spidops is out next to face off against Doug Trio, whose rock type attacks just proved
With
to
a
be too
strong-
much. Also, we flinched a really bad time, and then got knocked out by a sandstorm. This must be karma for that win against Kofu.
Yeah,
Anyways,
maybe.
Fortress finished off the moles, which left Rika with just her Clodsire. Both of our Pokemon could barely do any damage,
No
so I had
damage,
to sit
like-
there through several turns of us just slapping each other for 10 health, until eventually Fortress got knocked out. When Ursaring came out, Rika decided to spam Protect, which is a good strategy if she had used Toxic first. But no,
Yeah.
she was just randomly stalling for a few turns and then got knocked out. I don't know what the
What?
guy was trying to do there, but it failed. With one Elite
Hey, that
Four,
Toxic
it was
Protect
time to
isn't
fight
that
Poppy, the
good,
similar
but it's
child
still
who uses
Protect.
Field-type Pokemon. And considering most of Katie's team knows fighting and ground type moves, this
Whoa,
should also be a
it's
simple
easy.
battle. Our tiny
But
little
not that
Vulpix
easy.
two-shots the Caparaju with its axe
Shots
kick, and then
is-
sucker punches the Corviknight. Out next is our bulky Fortress, who
Chris,
spams Rock Tomb to
Splatoon.
reduce the Steel Bird's speed, and then we end up committing what Splatoon players would call a trade. Magnezone tries to be funny by
What?
setting up a light screen, but we
He's
just
a
smash it to pieces
Splatoon
with our Brick Break,
person.
and then
He
switches
plays
to attacking
Splatoon
us with a discharge,
his
which does knock
icon
out
is a
Spidops,
Splatoon,
but
so
Magnezone
cool.
is too weak to take on Heracross. This is a serious battle after all. Her next Pokemon is Bronzong, and that thing
Bronzong,
knows Sun
guys,
Headbutt, so
is
sadly,
that strong.
Heracross couldn't quite turn the tides
Almost.
here. Although it's not a problem for Ursaring. Now that thing, that's a problem. Not only does it nuke our HP with its Gigaton Hammer,
What
it's
the-
faster and also lands a Stone Edge, meaning we lost to a 5-year-old. Of course, I do give these battles 2 attempts, but she got lucky and landed the Stone Edge both times, so Katie loses here. Now I know some of you might say, well, if Poppy missed her Stone Edge, Katie could have hypothetically won, so to give the Sugar Bug the benefit of the doubt, I cheesed my way through the Poppy fight and tried to take on Larry. Now the thing about Larry is that he uses
Yeah,
flying
just
types in the
lucky.
Elite 4 team, and if you thought Poppy's Corviknight was a problem, you can only imagine how bad things went here. Needless
Oh,
to say,
fire
his Star
types.
Raptor absolutely denied Katie any chance of victory both times. But I'm already here, so after shredding a ton of Parmigiano cheese like a top Olive Garden employee,
What?
I made it through the Larry fight and got to battle Hazel, only to lose yet again. Them dragons were just too strong, and even though at
Yes.
this point there's a 0% chance of Katie becoming champion, I figured
What?
I might as well see how she does against Gita. After all, La Primera seems to have personally pressured Katie into going easy in her gym battles, and I'm starting to wonder if her sweet little trainer could have just said no and fought her off, or maybe
Oh.
she had to follow Gita's orders because she lost their battle. We can easily one-shot her spatula.
Easy peasy. What?
Her bulky Go-Go might be a problem, so we skitter smack it around and lower its speed with our Silk Trap, and then finish it off with Heracross. Of course,
Cool.
when push comes to shove, we miss the Mega Horn and get slapped around with an Aqua Jet, so Fortress has to spam Bug
Bug-
Bite to finish off the
Bug-
fish.
Bug-
Unfortunately, that Avalugg is simply too bulky for our team of physical attackers, and even on the off chance that we do make it to the Glimora, her Rock-type Terrapulse would
So
instantly
strong.
finish us off. So, could Katie become champion
Nah.
in Paldea? Sadly, the answer is a blatant no. While she could collect all of the gym badges, the Elite Four and Gita can easily
strong for
overpower her
her.
Bug-type team.
Crumbs, I've gotten so used to going easy on everyone that I can't even go all out when it counts.
You seem a little salty.
As one would be. It's like being forced to following someone else's recipe, only to get complaints about the food being too salty or overcooked.
You got a good point. Your team definitely could have used at least one good special attacker like a
Yeah.
Vespiquen or Rapska.
Or perhaps a Frostmoth.
I wouldn't have been of much help, even if I evolved. Frostmoth are just too slow and not bulky enough.
Then I suppose Frostmoth isn't the ingredient I need to make my team delectable.
Speaking
Oh.
of things we need, I kinda still need a way to visit the professor in Area Zero.
That might prove more difficult than making macaroons.
Yeah, I figured. But I really need to find a way to get down there.
I guess I could try filling out an application and see if they let us through, although I wouldn't get my hopes up. I hear even the CEO of Paldea Realty got rejected.
I
What?
think we'll be fine.
You two can go, as long as you promise to deliver this package. It's a bit urgent, and our hands are a little tied, so really counting on you for this one.
See?
My word. Do you think we can drop by the bakery on our way? I think I'd like to bring some sweets
Ooh.
for this professor as well.
I guess we could. She'd probably appreciate it, but I
Yeah,
don't think
cool.
she deserves it.
Sounds like your relationship with her is quite sour.
Oh.
You'll see once we get there. Now let's go.
Cool.
Delivery for Professor Sada?
And here I was, worried this package would be late. Leave it to Paldea's top baker to get the timing just right.
Oh, you flatter me, Professor. And you haven't even tried these cupcakes I made for you.
What a splendid surprise.
Ooh,
Say,
cool.
would you like to come inside and join me for some tea?
It would be
I
my
like
pleasure.
tea.
And besides,
Sweet
I've
tea.
brought someone along who wants to meet you.
Perfect. Then come on in. So, who is this someone you mentioned?
That would be me.
A talking Pokemon? Oh my, Miss Katie, you truly deserve a 5-star review.
Talking Pokemon, eh? So you still don't remember me.
Why, I'd never forget someone as unique as
Yeah.
yourself.
What about a talking Mareep or a Skiddo?
No. You are the first talking
on,
Pokemon I've ever met.
ever.
Yet you seem to have met me before.
You, your time machine, the only one I haven't met is your assistant.
And here I thought the Paradox Pokemon in Paldea
Oh.
only came through my time machine.
I am technically here because of it too.
But you did not enter through it. Otherwise, my assistant would have you on record.
It's quite the long story.
It's got everything but the kitchen sink.
Now, Miss Katie,
Katie?
let him cook. And while he does, will the two of you follow me down to this elevator? We can finish our tea later.
So basically, you wanted me to report on the past, so you sent me through your time machine, but I got stuck in a storage closet, and then I made my way back to your lab with a new friend, and got sent back in time so I could get you even more data.
And what's the data you've gathered?
I am still stuck. Your time machine failed to bring me back, twice now.
I see. Has anything else about the past changed?
Well,
No.
both times it seemed like everyone forgot about me. You, Iono, Brassias.
It seems very unlikely for all three of us to simply forget.
Well, none of them recognize me.
Maybe.
You didn't recognize me. And I've met you like 3 times by this point.
Interesting. Mind your step and allow me to explain. I believe I know why you get stuck in the past.
He goes
With
to
just
another
2 data
round.
points?
It's enough to form a hypothesis, but not enough to confirm it, although my
Ooh,
confidence is quite high.
Well then, spill the beans.
Have you ever heard of the Butterfree effect?
I have. It'll make your snacks healthier, but it tends to compromise their texture and flavor.
My apologies, Miss Katie, but I was referring to the Pokemon. I suppose since that species can't be found in Paldea, it might be more accurate to call it the Vivian effect. In fact, I am a bit more biased towards that name. However, the wider scientific community has chosen the former as it is more globally recognizable.
Name
Okay.
aside, what does this have to do with me being stuck?
Oh, what?
Well, simply put, if we were to take a Butterfree and send it to the past, then have it flap its wings once, the tiny changes in air currents could domino into each other and may even cause a hurricane in Hoenn.
Hoenn gets a lot of hurricanes anyways. How can we know if a random Butterfree made
Oh,
another one
yeah.
happen?
Why
All
not?
things in the world follow the laws of cause and effect. By inserting a single flap of the wings, we would have added a new effect into the world,
What?
albeit a tiny one. However, even a small change
Hmm?
in one minuscule variable in the formula of the world could lead to an entirely different
Cheers,
outcome.
peace
Well, I'm
out.
sorry to the people of Hoenn for Hurricane Vasco, I guess.
The hurricane is simply an example. According to your description, the time machine, which has never failed to retrieve an object from the past, has failed to retrieve you, which could only mean one thing.
What?
In a way, yes. To put it simply, your presence in the past makes it
What?
so the time machine in the present no longer attempts to retrieve you. In a way, you're stopping a hurricane from happening. After all, we are
What?
here right now, and the machine does not contain your coordinates or any data on you
Oh.
whatsoever. If you hadn't waltzed through my door, I wouldn't have even known you existed, let
Oh.
alone try to use the time machine to pull you back.
Say, Professor, could I ask you a question?
Please.
Have you not tested for this Butterfree effect before? It seems like it would cause major trouble if it were real.
If I did not already have a trusty assistant, I'd hire you on the spot, dear. It was one of the first things we tested, and there has been no Butterfree effect observed. Not even when releasing
What?
a Pokemon from the present in the past. Until
What?
now.
So the recipe is the same, but the outcome is different. If you were to ask me, it may be because you were using a different ingredient?
What am I, a mung bean?
I think she's onto something. In fact, I
What?
now have a theory that I'd like to test out.
Oh, not this again. For the love of Arceus, can you do something other than put me in that time machine?
But if you refuse, that leaves me with only one other option, Katie.
Listen, she's gonna try to trick you into battling her, and then have you give her my Pokeball when you lose.
Ouch, you think I'm that bad of a trainer, huh?
Well, you did lose to a 5-year-old.
This stings worse than hot caramel. Perhaps I should
Eh.
battle her.
If your skills are half as good as your baking, I think this would be quite
Cool.
the fair match.
Alright, then let's have ourselves a little cook-off.
Dang it, if only I didn't lose my cool. Zelda's first Pokemon looked a lot like a bug type, so Katie decided to go for Bounce, which happened to hit super effective and one-shot the Slytherin.
Goodbye to the
Springtail
line.
got debuffed with Lunge, then Sucker Punch before it could finish off low kicks. Out next
Cool.
was Fortress, who was so bulky that Katie decided to be a bit mischievous. Instead of going for the knockout right away, she decided to power up her Fortress with Curse, which made it into an extremely slow but physically powerful wall. And then she finished up the big
Fireball.
Jigglypuff and prepared to sweep. Unfortunately, the professor followed up with a Fluttermane, who just used Mystical Fire to one-shot her fortified
What?
soft cookie.
For
Heracross
the
managed to
time
finish off the
for
floating
the
menace
fancy
with a Night
unit. Did
Flash
you
at
crit?
Stone Edge, who was too slow
No.
to stand up to the sandy shocks. Smidops was also too slow, which left us with Ursaring, who also missed its move and got knocked out with a
But
Power
Tower
Gem.
Gem,
And since
too.
we did lose the battle, I guess it's time for me to get lost in time yet again.
Not to worry, Mr. Snomsko. I'm confident you'll find your way back here again with another very important data point.
I'm so tired of these sick experiments you keep doing.
Ill as they may seem, they are for your sake. If you
What?
wish to get unstuck, we must determine why
Yes,
you're
I
stuck
like the
here in the
soldier,
first place.
but this
When
one's
cooking
way.
with a different ingredient, it
Yes.
may take a couple of tries to find out how to best bake with something new.
She is correct.
That's
This time,
interesting
There's
how
a
it
very
cooks.
specific thing that I want you to to look out for.
Sure, I mean,
What
it
is
doesn't
it?
sound like I have any other choice.
From your description of the past,
What?
it seems that the other yous, which should have been there, were not. I do not believe you were simply forgotten. My suspicion is that the past you simply never met the trainers you knew. Although, I don't know why. So
Why
your
this
task
bitch?
is to go and find yourself. Anyone of the three will do.
Now that sounds like it could really mess up the timeline.
It seems like things get messed up
Yes.
either way, but if we can find at least one other you, that should help me better understand your situation and bring me a step closer to getting you back to
Okay.
when you were, as promised.
It's a good thing I remember exactly where I was each time, so it shouldn't be that hard.
Good. Now, let's begin.
Wait,
Yes, Miss Katie?
I just wanted to say goodbye and also to apologize for
What?
acting like I was upset.
If anything, I was going to apologize for hurting your feelings. I kinda panicked and got my words all mixed up. Wait a second. Acting?
You and the professor don't mix well together, like baking soda and vinegar. But I can tell she's trying to help, so I figured I'd go along with whatever course she has planned. You might not like
Oh.
the first few plates, but I think the dessert will be quite delectable.
Well, in that case, thank you for looking out for me. And if the dessert isn't any good, I'll come bug you at the patisserie.
And I'll be sure to make you the best dessert you've ever had.
It's a deal. Well then, I guess I'm ready to go.
Yes, now to go to another one. What do you think, guys? I think it's the psychic.
Meh. I know he's supposed to be me, but I can't shake this strong feeling of envy. How come I got completely ignored by Iono while he got to travel
What?
with someone as sweet as Katie?
What? This guys. Guys, we're gonna end the video right now. And this Vasco series of who can be the champion is really interesting. It's more interesting than his last. So goodbye, guys. Have a good day.